Good morning and thank you for joining us for Unscripted on 13 Plus. I'm Carson Courier. We do want to go ahead and take a live look out to the White House this morning as we are following the latest developments involving the Trump administration. We know an appeals court is hearing the Trump administration's request this afternoon to lift a federal judge's order blocking the president's use of a wartime authority to deport some migrants. This comes as other Trump immigration measures spark concern, including reports that the IRS is nearing a deal to help locate undocumented migrants. Meanwhile, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz will travel to a U.S. military base in Greenland this week. Trump has repeatedly said he wants America to take over the territory, saying the U.S. needs the Danish-controlled island for, quote, national security. Second Lady Usha Vance will also travel to Greenland to visit cultural sites. But first, we do want to go ahead and take a look at your 13 First Alert forecast. We have 13 First Alert meteorologist Dave Spar with us on your Monday. Dave, hot weekend or a warm weekend, sunny weekend.
Yeah.
Temperature is a lot hotter, especially tomorrow.
And we're introduced to the 90s this week, too. So they'll be around for a couple of days. The big day we're going to be watching is going to be Tuesday on that. First things first, though, it's sunny with a high-pressure building and all that fun stuff. But down the south, look at that bubbling up from the south. Now, it looks like we'll get some high to mid-level moisture with that coming up by the middle of the week. Now, in the short run, that's going to cost us our high temperatures from being as lofty, but they sometimes can come with some rain. Well, that's not a bad thing, no, but the lightning part is not a good thing, so we don't want too much in the way of dynamics. 67 Tucson at this hour. Benson checks in at 67. We're starting to get some closing the gap here between Cochise County and Pima County, but that gap will reassert itself because it won't be as warm to the east today. There's a look at the first alert forecast as we watch the cloud cover bubble on up from the south. That's overnight Tuesday into Wednesday. This is advanced too. That's what I was mentioning before. So we'll just have some scattered clouds on Wednesday, but with daytime heating through the day on Wednesday and Thursday, that's the only little concern if those have some bite to them. We'll take the showers, but we don't like the lightning part of it, and sometimes you can get dry lightning too. But this is just an aside. The percentages are very, very low with this. It's sometimes called in the trades a silent pop. What they tend to do sometimes in the Ohio Valley, sometimes when there's 20% chance of a thunder shower with an air mass like that. Same kind of thing for us too, put it about 10%. So scattered clouds come and go through the week. It breaks down a little bit, so we're looking for temperatures to retreat, but still sailing in the 80s though, it looks like by next weekend. It will be above average. Today we have new colors for you on this map here. Oh yeah, and almost getting blood red there at 90 for Tucson, Sells 91, Ajo you have 92, so you take the cake there. Elsewhere we have some lower 80s and everybody's going to be warming up going forward. In the 70 forecast, there you have it, up to 96 tomorrow. 1896's record of 94, boom, headed out of the park. And we'll keep with some lower 90s for Wednesday, Thursday, return to the 80s with a new trough coming our way. That's why it says breezy on Friday, and it'll bring some winds with it. Right now, I looked ahead. They didn't look to be too terrible, so we'll take some winds with that fine correction of temperatures for the weekend.
Okay, 96 degrees. Whew,
Yep,
that's going to be
tomorrow.
A shock to the system.
24 hours, here we come. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Dave.
You betcha.
Thankfully, it's not triple digits. We got to look on the bright side here. Well, if you watched the U of A's basketball game last night against Pac-12 rival Oregon, it was quite the sight to see, especially at the beginning. I got a little bit nervous thinking that we wouldn't be able to come back, but we did. We know the Cats beat Oregon, and we are very excited for what comes next. Now that the Cats are going into the Sweet 16, our very own Damian Alameda is in Seattle with the very latest about what is next for our Cats. Let's go ahead and listen in.
So what, now what? That was the mentality that the Arizona Wildcats used last night to dig themselves out of a 15-point hole, beat Oregon 87-83, and punch their ticket to New Jersey and the Sweet 16. So what, now what? Don't worry about what just happened. Worry about how you're going to answer it, deal with it, and move forward. But let's be honest, folks. So what, now what? That's a great catchphrase, but it really isn't Arizona's identity. No, their identity is gritty toughness, and it's an identity that really they have grown into throughout the course of the season because, you know what, those early games back in November, back in December, there was a good chance that these Cats would not be able to dig themselves out of a 19-4 hole and win, and yet last night they did exactly that, beating Oregon, and now they're moving on to their second straight Sweet 16.
Yeah, I mean, obviously going down 19-4 at the beginning of the game, that's the definition of gritty. That's like those long Uno games that we play as a team. We knew just to hang in there. It's a long basketball game and a lot can happen.
You know, being down 14 in the first half, us running back taking the lead, and then, you know, them throwing their punch in the second half and us staying calm, and, you know, hitting timely shots and, you know, getting timely stops. I think, you know, that was the grittiest of them all.
I mean, KJ, a sophomore, he came every huddle. If you could zoom in and see his face every time he was walking we could be talking about a play, whatever the case may be, KJ was saying, hey, no emotion, no emotion, no emotion. And it kind of reminded you of, like, no matter how high your highs are and how low your lows are, you have to stay steady.
Steadiness, mental toughness, grittiness, and because of all of that, Arizona has now punched their ticket onward to the Sweet 16 and a date with the Duke Blue Devils top seed in the East region out in New Jersey. Tip-off between these two Thursday night at 6:40 Tucson time. From Seattle, Washington, I'm Damian Alameda. Back to you.
And of course, we do want to remind you to download our 13 News mobile app. All you have to do is scan the QR code right there on your screen, or you can go to your Apple App Store or Google Play App Store and search KOLD. You can get live, local, late-breaking content. You can get anything we're streaming over our 13 News mobile app, and you can customize your alerts. So it's really handy, especially with late-breaking news or any March Madness news, especially when it comes to our Wildcats. So fingers crossed, again, we will be playing Duke on Thursday. That is going to be airing on 13 News. Bear down, go Cats, fingers crossed. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Unscripted on 13 Plus. I'm Carson Courier. Happy Monday, everyone. Have a great day. We will be right back here tomorrow morning at 9:30.